Welcome back. At first glance, they might look like ordinary pennies, but don't be fooled. Lincoln wheat pennies have a rich history, and some of them are hiding big value. From rare mint dates to striking errors, a few of these coins have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Let's uncover the secrets behind these tiny copper treasures. The 1916 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is one of the most captivating and mysterious coins in American numismatics. Though millions were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time, only a rare handful possessed the kind of unique qualities that could elevate their value to a staggering $9 million. While most 1916 wheat pennies are modest in value, the true worth of this coin lies in exceptional errors, pristine condition, or a hidden history that has transformed it from an everyday item into a near-mythical artifact. What makes this particular coin so valuable is not just its age or rarity, but a combination of factors that come together perfectly. First, the condition. A 1916 penny in regular circulated condition may fetch a few dollars, but one preserved in near-perfect uncirculated state, possibly even with original mint luster and absolutely no signs of wear, immediately becomes desirable. Coins like that are extremely scarce, and only a few may still exist today. Collectors and investors know how rare it is to find a coin over 100 years old that looks as if it were just minted yesterday. The next possibility is a rare minting error. Over the years, experts have discovered that coins with double dies, off-center strikes, or those made on the wrong planchets are among the most valuable. A 1916 penny with a visible and dramatic doubling on Lincoln's portrait, or the wheat stalks, or even a coin mistakenly struck on a gold or silver planchet, could be one of a kind. Such a coin, especially authenticated and graded by a top-tier certification service, would be the centerpiece of any collection and could command prices in the millions. Historical context also plays a role. The 1916 penny was struck during a transformative time in American history, just before the U.S. entered World War I, and during a period of immense social and industrial change. Collectors often place high premiums on coins that come from pivotal years, especially when tied to important events. If a 1916 Lincoln cent could be directly traced to a famous collection or found with an extraordinary backstory, like being tucked away in a forgotten vault for decades, it would only increase its mystique and value. But reaching a $9 million valuation means the coin is truly extraordinary. It may have been featured in auctions or displayed at major numismatic exhibitions. It could be the only known specimen with its particular set of features: flawless surfaces, a freak mint error, a completely unique die variety, and a deep lustrous tone that suggests perfect preservation. All of these qualities combined would explain such an astronomical price. The 1938 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark may appear common at first glance, but certain rare examples have stunned collectors with both their beauty and historical intrigue. While millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally omitted a mint mark, a few coins from this year have achieved extraordinary value due to condition, rarity, and unexpected minting errors. For a 1938 penny to be valued at $800,000, it must be something far beyond ordinary. A nearly perfect relic, touched by time but never worn, with a unique story that sets it apart from millions of others. The most immediate factor that can elevate a 1938 wheat penny to such value is condition. Most examples in circulation today have scratches, dirt, fading detail, or corrosion. But a coin preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition with full red luster, sharp definition, and no visible flaws is incredibly rare. Coins graded MS-68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are scarce and command premium prices. If the coin maintains its brilliant copper-red tone from the day it was minted, it becomes far more than just another wheat penny. It becomes a collector's dream. Another factor contributing to the massive value could be a minting error or variety. Double die obverse or reverse, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet can turn an ordinary penny into a legendary piece. For example, a 1938 penny struck on a foreign planchet, or with a strong double die on Lincoln's profile, or the inscriptions could be unique or one of only a few known examples. Such coins are often misidentified or overlooked, but once discovered and authenticated, their value can rise quickly. Numismatists are always on the lookout for rare varieties like these, especially from well-studied years like 1938. The historical context of the late 1930s also adds emotional value. America was in recovery mode following the Great Depression, and the looming specter of World War II was beginning to cast its shadow across the globe. Coins from this time represent resilience, change, and transition. A coin that survived these decades in untouched condition might have been part of a special collector's set, a saved treasure from a family heirloom, or found stored away in a bank vault, untouched by time. Such stories bring additional depth and emotional connection to the coin's journey. Finally, provenance, the coin's ownership history, can play a role in valuation. If a 1938 wheat penny was once owned by a famous numismatist or was part of an important auction or display, that adds prestige. Some coins carry legacies that increase their desirability even further. At $800,000, this coin is not just about metal or minting. It represents the rare convergence of history, perfection, and discovery. It's the kind of coin that inspires collectors to check every wheat penny in their jar. Because who knows, that tiny copper coin hiding in plain sight might just be the next great find. The 1944 S. Lincoln wheat penny may seem like a common coin at first glance, but certain rare examples have achieved remarkable value, especially when tied to unique characteristics, historical context, and the attention of dedicated collectors. While tens of millions of these coins were minted in San Francisco, not every one of them is equal. Most 1944 S pennies in circulation today are worth only a few cents to a few dollars, depending on condition. However, a few rare variations, paired with strong eye appeal and specific minting anomalies, have broken records, fetching incredible prices at auction and becoming centerpieces in elite collections. When we talk about a circulated 1944 S penny valued at $600,000, we're looking at a coin that stands apart from the rest. Even though it shows signs of use, such as minor wear or dullness from handling, it may also feature something extremely rare, a unique mint error, unusual planchet composition, or an eye-catching die variation that makes it one of a kind. For instance, there have been reports of 1944 S pennies mistakenly struck on steel planchets left over from 1943. These coins should have been minted in copper, but a steel blank, intended for the prior year, found its way into production. These transitional error coins are exceedingly rare and highly prized. A verified example of such a mistake can easily command hundreds of thousands of dollars. Another possibility is the presence of a doubled die or strong repunched mint mark RPM. These features are the result of minting anomalies where the die either shifted during production or received an extra punch, leaving behind noticeable doubling in the date, letters, or mint mark. In circulated condition, these errors can still be highly valuable, especially if they are sharply visible and well preserved despite the coin's age and handling. Collectors are also drawn to the historical story behind coins from this era. The year 1944 was a time of global conflict and wartime economy. World War II was in full force, and materials like copper and steel were tightly regulated. Minting coins during this time involved more scrutiny and experimentation than usual, which occasionally led to rare mistakes or unusual combinations of dies and planchets. A coin that somehow survived all these years with distinct features, even in The 1944 D. Lincoln wheat penny is a coin that has sparked immense interest in the numismatic world, especially when it comes with unusual physical characteristics that suggest a rare error or historical anomaly. While the Denver Mint struck over 430 million pennies in 1944, making it one of the more common mintages in the wheat penny series, a small number of these coins have surfaced with extraordinary features that set them apart from the rest. A damaged example, particularly on one side, is typically worth very little, unless the damage isn't post-mint, but instead tied to a unique minting error. That's where the intrigue begins. In the world of rare coin collecting, what may appear as damage could, upon expert analysis, be classified as a dramatic mint error. Errors such as off-center strikes, die breaks, clipped planchets, or even coins struck on the wrong metal have historically fetched huge sums of money at auctions, even if they show wear or circulation marks. In some cases, a coin with one side partially or fully blank, misaligned, or showing a deep indentation may be the result of a striking anomaly or planchet defect that occurred during the minting process. These errors are incredibly scarce, especially for coins from the wartime years when minting processes were heavily scrutinized. In 1944, the U.S. Mint had just returned to producing pennies in copper after using zinc-coated steel in 1943 due to wartime metal shortages. However, a few leftover steel planchets from the prior year remained in the system. Coins accidentally struck on these steel blanks in 1944 are among the most sought-after errors in American coinage. A verified 1944 D steel cent once sold for over $1 million, and even circulated versions are known to command prices upwards of $700,000, depending on the coin's overall appearance and verification of authenticity. Damage that aligns with unusual coloration, magnetic properties, or uncharacteristic weight for a copper penny can lead to further investigation and testing. If the coin in question is one of the very few 1944 D steel cents, or if it displays a never-before-seen error pattern authenticated by professional grading services, its market value could easily climb into 6 or 7 figures, regardless of one-sided damage. Such a discovery would ignite excitement across collectors, dealers, and investors alike. In some cases, a heavily worn or flawed side can be the result of a rare brockage error where a previously struck coin becomes stuck to the die, leading the next coin to be imprinted with a mirrored and partial impression. Brockages are extremely rare and can create incredible collector demand. Furthermore, any 1944 D penny that comes with an official certification from a reputable grading authority such as PCGS or NGC, confirming it to be a mint error or off-metal strike, could instantly become a highlight of any advanced collection. The 1952 D. Lincoln wheat penny is typically a common coin in circulation, with over 746 million minted at the Denver facility that year. But occasionally, a specific example stands out due to unique features that spark curiosity and collector interest. In this case, the coin is noted for having a distinct black shade, which may suggest either long-term oxidation or the presence of an unusual metal composition or error during minting. While most blackened coins are dismissed as damaged from environmental exposure, certain coins with deep toning, unusual metal mixing, or genuine off-metal errors can carry enormous value. This particular coin, with its intense black surface and confirmed authenticity, has attracted a valuation of $400,000. The striking black appearance of the 1952-D penny can result from years of chemical interaction, possibly due to exposure to extreme conditions or the coin being stored in non-acid-free holders. However, if experts determine that the coloration is a result of an error in the alloy mixture or a striking process anomaly, the coin can rise sharply in value. A copper penny with improper alloy mixing, where the tin or zinc levels were too high or low, could create unique colorations and surface textures. These types of metallurgical anomalies are rare, and when certified, they fetch high prices in the numismatic market. Additionally, a coin with a consistent black surface, especially when paired with original details still visible beneath the toning, can sometimes be classified as a natural tone rather than post-mint damage. Natural toning in rare hues like deep purples, blues, and blacks are highly collectible, particularly if the coin has not been cleaned or altered. The presence of the original D mint mark from Denver, coupled with the integrity of Lincoln's profile and wheat stalks, helps verify the coin's identity and adds to its desirability among collectors. In other rare scenarios, certain coins from the early 1950s were mistakenly struck on foreign planchets. The U.S. Mint occasionally produced coins for other countries during this period, and leftover blanks from foreign contracts sometimes got mixed into the production of domestic coins. If this particular 1952 D penny were struck on a non-standard planchet, like one made of a different metal entirely, that could explain both the color and the rarity, which would significantly increase its market value. A well-documented example of a U.S. coin struck on the wrong planchet has reached auction prices exceeding hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 1964 D Lincoln 1-cent coin might seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change to most people, but under certain circumstances, even a coin minted in the billions can become a remarkable rarity. Over 3.7 billion of these pennies were struck at the Denver Mint in 1964, making it one of the most common coins of its time. Yet one specific piece with circulated condition and visible black rust has shocked collectors due to its estimated value of $600,000. While this value may seem unimaginable for a well-worn coin, there are always reasons behind extraordinary price tags in the numismatic world. One of the most notable features of this coin is its black, rust-like surface. While many coins exposed to the elements develop dark stains, environmental damage, or corrosion over time, certain types of chemical reactions can create what experts call natural toning. If the coin was stored in a sulfur-rich environment or exposed to unusual chemical interactions, the result may be a deeply toned or oxidized appearance that, when evenly distributed and not abrasive, becomes visually desirable. Some collectors prize naturally toned coins, especially those with unique patterns or colorations. This particular coin's black patina could be a result of those rare interactions, not simply damage, and if professionally authenticated as natural, that adds tremendous value. Another possibility that has captured collectors' attention is the theory that this coin may have been struck on a transitional or experimental planchet. During certain years, the U.S. Mint experimented with different metal compositions. If a leftover planchet from another test was accidentally used to mint this 1964 D penny, it could explain the unusual weight, texture, and coloring of the coin. When verified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC, coins struck on incorrect planchets often skyrocket in value, especially when they're rare and preserved well enough to display defining characteristics like mint marks and date clarity. The Denver Mint, known for its high production output, still had strict quality control. However, errors did happen, especially when production was rushed to meet demand. This could result in coins being double struck, off-center, struck through grease, or struck on the wrong metal. If the blackened 1964 D penny displays any of these characteristics, especially a combination of them, then the coin crosses the line from damaged to historically significant. Even in circulated condition, such a coin could easily draw six-figure offers at high-profile auctions. The 1975 Lincoln 1-cent coin is often overlooked due to its high mintage numbers and seemingly ordinary appearance. But every so often, a coin emerges from circulation that defies expectations. not because of its beauty or perfect condition, but because of a hidden story etched into its copper surface. The particular 1975 penny in question is in rusty, circulated condition, yet it has stunned collectors with an estimated value of $700,000. This surprising value isn't because of its looks, but rather its extreme rarity and possible error characteristics. In 1975, the U.S. Mint produced over 5.4 billion 1-cent coins between its facilities. Most were made of a bronze composition consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, not every coin that left the mint that year was perfect. A small handful of coins escaped with dramatic and rare minting errors. While most of these go unnoticed, those that survive over decades and resurface in unique condition, like this rust-toned specimen, can be worth a fortune. The value of this rusty coin is believed to come from a rare combination of characteristics. Some experts suggest it may have been struck on an experimental or transitional planchet, possibly even one intended for foreign coinage. The weight and composition would have to be tested to confirm this, but if it does not match the standard bronze formula of its time, that alone could justify a massive price tag. Additionally, certain 1975 pennies have been discovered with misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or double dies, errors that multiply the coin's value depending on how dramatic and visible they are. What adds to the mystery and value of this coin is the rusty surface. While rust is typically seen as a flaw, there are rare instances where the toning or oxidation on a coin creates a unique appearance that appeals to collectors. If the rust is not aggressive corrosion, but rather natural toning or environmental aging that still preserves the details of the coin, such as the date, Lincoln's profile, and "In God We Trust," then it becomes an artifact, not just damaged metal. That character, that survival through decades, gives the coin a story that collectors value. In today's market, serious collectors and investors are always on the lookout for coins that stand out, even if their appearance is unconventional. This 1975 penny, though rusty, tells a powerful story of survival, history, and hidden minting secrets. The idea that such a coin could be hiding in someone's drawer or passed along unknowingly in change is part of what fuels the excitement in the numismatic world. The 1969 Lincoln 1-cent coin without a mint mark may seem like an ordinary penny to the untrained eye, but within the numismatic community, certain examples of this date are surrounded by excitement, mystery, and immense value. Valued at $800,000, this unassuming coin has become one of the most sought-after rarities due to a specific and highly unusual minting error, an error so rare that only a few lucky collectors have ever held it in their hands. The story begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1969. Unlike coins struck in Denver or San Francisco, coins produced in Philadelphia during this time did not receive a mint mark, which is why the absence of one on a 1969 penny is completely normal. But what makes a few of these coins extraordinary is the discovery of a dramatic and rare double die obverse. A true double die is not the result of a coin being struck twice, but rather a misalignment that occurs during the creation of the coin's die itself. This misalignment leads to every coin struck with that die to show noticeable doubling in certain areas, including the date, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." In the case of the famous 1969 double die penny without a mint mark, the doubling is bold and clear, visible even without magnification. That level of clarity and strength is what sets it apart from common machine doubling or lesser-known variants. Very few of these coins were released into circulation before the Secret Service mistook them for counterfeits and began confiscating and destroying known examples. Because of this crackdown, only a limited number have survived, which drastically increased their value among collectors and investors. If one of these rare double-die coins surfaces today, even in circulated condition, it could fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. In 2008, one such coin sold for over $120,000. Since then, prices have soared as collectors realize how scarce this variety truly is. An uncirculated or near-mint condition version could easily command close to or beyond the $800,000 mark, especially if it has been authenticated and graded by top agencies such as PCGS or NGC. For a coin like the 1969 no mint mark penny, it's not just about metal or age, it's about the dramatic visual error and the history of its creation. Each one is a survivor of a moment in minting history that was never meant to happen. Whether it was tucked away in a coin jar for decades or passed unknowingly between people as a regular penny, the idea that it holds such incredible value today is what makes coin collecting such an exciting adventure. A rusted and worn-out 1982 1-cent coin might not seem like anything special. In fact, most people would likely overlook it or toss it back into a jar of pocket change. But in the world of coin collecting, appearances can be deceiving. The year 1982 marked a major turning point in the history of the Lincoln penny, a year of transition, experimentation, and rare variations. And because of that, a few specific 1982 pennies, even in less than perfect condition, have become incredibly valuable. Some examples, especially those with unusual compositions or minting mistakes, can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. One rare version of this coin, despite being rusted and badly worn, is valued at $900,000 due to its extreme rarity and historical significance. To understand why a 1982 penny could carry such a massive price tag, we need to look back at what made that year so unique. In 1982, the U.S. Mint changed the composition of the penny from 95% copper to a cheaper copper-plated zinc. This decision was driven by rising copper prices and the need to reduce production costs. As a result, both copper and zinc pennies were minted in the same year. Several different varieties of the 1982 penny were made, including large and small date designs, and they were produced in both copper and zinc compositions. That gives us a total of 7 officially recognized variations. However, one version of the 1982 penny exists in such small numbers that it has become a legend among collectors, the 1982D small date copper penny. Only a couple of these 1982D small date pennies made with the copper composition have ever been found. The Denver Mint was only supposed to use the new zinc composition for its small date coins. Somehow, a few copper planchets were accidentally used, creating a coin that technically shouldn't exist. Because of its unauthorized and accidental nature, this variety is extremely rare and highly valuable. One confirmed example of this variety sold for over $18,000, and as collector demand continues to rise, experts estimate that a true and verified specimen could reach up to $900,000, especially if new discoveries are made or if the coin displays exceptional historical interest. Even a damaged or rusted example of this rare variant holds incredible value, not because of its condition, but because of what it represents. It is a mistake, a mystery, and a moment in mint history that slipped through the cracks. Coins like these are reminders that treasure can be hidden in the most unlikely places. Coins that most would throw away might actually be worth a fortune. For collectors, the thrill is not just in the condition of the coin, but in its story, its rarity, and its role in American minting history. A rusted 1982 penny could be the key to an incredible discovery, waiting patiently to be recognized for what it truly is, a once-in-a-lifetime find. The 1974 1-cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln penny, is one of the most familiar coins in American pockets. However, not all 1974 pennies are created equal. While most people think of these coins as simple copper cents with no special value, there are a few rare varieties that have become the center of intense interest in the coin collecting world. One such version, even in circulated condition, has been estimated to be worth as much as $500,000. This incredible value is not based on appearance alone, but on a rare and experimental minting decision that took place during that year. In 1974, the United States Mint began exploring alternatives to the traditional copper composition used in pennies. At the time, rising copper prices were creating economic concerns. The government needed to find a cheaper metal that could still work for everyday coin production. That's when the idea of using aluminum came into play. The Mint produced over 1.5 million 1974 Lincoln cents using aluminum instead of copper, and these experimental coins were intended to be tested and possibly introduced into circulation. However, before the aluminum cents could be officially released, the project was abandoned due to strong opposition from both Congress and various industries, especially the vending machine industry, which claimed the aluminum cents would cause problems in machines that read coin weights. All of the aluminum cents were ordered to be destroyed. The Mint believed that every last one of these test coins had been accounted for. But over the years, a few examples have surfaced, coins that somehow escaped destruction and now exist in private collections. These aluminum cents are not only extremely rare, but technically illegal to own, as they were never authorized for public release. Still, their market value is immense. If one of these ultra-rare coins were ever to be sold legally, it could fetch as much as $500,000 or more, depending on its condition and historical significance. Even regular copper 1974 pennies have their own interesting variations. Some display minor doubling, off-center strikes, or other minting errors. These coins may not reach the $500,000 mark, but they can still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars if the error is dramatic enough. Collectors often hunt for these rare anomalies hidden in ordinary-looking rolls of coins. When someone finds a 1974 penny and thinks it could be valuable, one of the most important steps is determining its weight. Aluminum coins weigh far less than standard copper cents, about 0.93 grams versus 3.11 grams for copper. A simple scale can help uncover whether the coin might be something extraordinary. The combination of unusual composition, historic experimentation, and extremely limited survival makes certain 1974 pennies a dream find for numismatists. A circulated 1974 1-cent coin might appear worn and unremarkable at first glance, but if it's one of those few experimental issues, or even if it has a rare mint error, it could be worth far more than anyone would expect. Sometimes the true value of a coin lies not in how it looks, but in the incredible story it carries.